The exhibition Afterlives of San Juan Hill was presented at the CENTRO en el Barrio at the Silberman School of Social Work on 3rd Avenue at 119th Street in Manhattan from May 14th to September 30th, 2025. CENTRO, the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College, is the largest university-based research institute, library, and archive dedicated to the Puerto Rican experience in the United States, researching, preserving, and sharing the Puerto Rican experience. Who were the residents of San Juan Hill? About 2 weeks ago, I went to see the exhibition Afterlives of San Juan Hill, which brought translated archival materials and over 2,000 records into a tapestry demonstrating the strength of community in the face of violent displacement and dispossession. The exhibition uncovered the story of Puerto Rican families displaced from the Lincoln Square and San Juan Hill neighborhoods in 1958, featuring never-before-seen archival documents from Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts and other sources. The event traced the impact of urban renewal on more than 2,000 Puerto Ricans. In the first half of the 20th century, the area now called Lincoln Square was known by another name, San Juan Hill. Musical phenomena like bebop and the Charleston were created there. Its clubs and theaters nurtured creative geniuses like James P. Johnson, Josephine Baker, Thelonious Monk, and artist spaces like the Lincoln Square Arcade counted luminaries. Home to a largely working-class community, San Juan Hill was redlined in the 1930s and targeted by urban renewal in the 1940s and 50s, when thousands of residents were displaced to make way for Amsterdam houses, Lincoln Center, Fordham University, and other modern developments. Through never-before-accessed records and archives, historical footage, expert commentary, and interviews with residents, San Juan Hill, Manhattan's lost neighborhood, and now the afterlife have been rescued, and it has been presented to the public. San Juan Hill was a community in what is now the Lincoln Square neighborhood of the Upper West Side in Manhattan, in New York. Its residents were mostly African American, Afro-Caribbean, and Puerto Rican, and comprised one of the largest African American communities in New York before World War I. Afterlives of San Juan Hill highlights the individual stories of Lincoln Square residents during a pivotal time. There are different opinions as to why the area was called San Juan Hill. Some critics say that it refers to the Spanish-American War of 1898 fought in Cuba. It is also said that it was because African American veterans from the war lived in the area. Others say that the name was given to the area due to the constant ethnic gang fights between African Americans and Irish American gangs. For over a year, members of CENTRO's data hub analyzed a total of 2,100 130 site occupation records belonging to families in the Lincoln Center site. The Puerto Rican population at this site was apparently new to New York City, likely part of the migration spurred by Operation Bootstrap. Operation Bootstrap prompted the rapid industrialization of Puerto Rico, which triggered a mass exodus of Puerto Ricans to the United States. CENTRO states the data collected from these site occupation records has allowed us to challenge historical narratives and gain new insights into the lived experiences of those who were displaced by the Lincoln Square urban renewal process. The goal of this exhibit is to create visual accompaniments to our research and to underscore the human element of New York City development projects that lead to the displacement of families and communities.
I'm comido. Who's eating?
Yes.
No? Who's drinking? Okay, ahora sí, because something has to give you. You're not eating, you gotta be drinking. But welcome to CENTRO. This visual landscape, right? This visual representation of the geography, the institutions, right? The kinds of practices that were created to displace communities like ours, our very own communities, and our relations communities, right? And then end it with this beautiful, beautiful serendipitous moment where they meet a family, a really special family that used to live there, and collaborated with the Zapata family here. To bring to life the story that is just beyond the maps and just beyond the newspapers and much more than just a blue square or rectangle of paper. It is a living history of a community that withstood some of the most violent and egregious forms of dispossession and displacement, things that we still see today, right? So I think the resonance of this and why it's so important for CENTRO to create actionable and accessible research in Puerto Rican studies in our history is to remember that some of the battles that we are fighting now, we have fought before, right? And we have the history, the methods, the tools, and the experience to approach questions of gentrification, of displacement, right? Of violence in our communities in innovative ways, while also building on the kinds of practices that were done before us. And so for me, this is super, super special, so incredible. I am still in awe that the data scientists made this beautiful thing happen with the support of the arts and culture team. Sebastian, Rorimar, Angel Antonio were here also helping to prepare and install. We also had a team of preparators who I also want to thank. But it really is that collaboration across the teams with folks who are doing the data, folks who are well-versed in photography, visual works, and art exhibits that made this possible, as well as the oral history team and everyone else. So this, what you're seeing before you, is 2 years of really hard work and very meticulous thinking and research. Thank you all for being here, and I'm going to leave you with Dr. Cristel Justino Diaz, one of the curators of this exhibit and the Director of Research Programs here at the Center for Puerto Rican Studies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamaida, and thank you everybody for being here tonight. It really is just so wonderful to see such a big crowd gathered here today to learn more about San Juan Hill and the community and the families that lived in this place. Like Jamaida mentioned, this really is the culmination. I remember I started at Centro 3 years ago, and I first heard about this potential collaboration right after I got here, so it really feels like, you know, things coming full circle, right? One of the first things that was on my radar when I got here was this project, and I am so excited and so proud to see, you know, what the end result is. So like many people, my introduction to San Juan Hill came from West Side Story. And when I first heard that the Lincoln Center Archives was offering a research team access to a set of relocation records, I knew we had an opportunity to go beyond the musical's tropes and really learn about the emerging Puerto Rican community that was displaced from the Lincoln Square and San Juan Hill neighborhoods in the late 1950s. Centro's Data Hub has been producing exceptional data-driven work for the last 13 years, But one thing our researchers had never done was work with archival records. I'm incredibly grateful to our core team, Jorge Soldevila Irizarry. Aplauso para Jorge, please. Tamaira Figueroa Latú. And Dr. Laura Colón Meléndez. To embark on this completely new type of research project for us. I'm not a historian, I'm a literature person, they're data scientists. This was a completely new adventure for all of us. And I think in the end it paid off, right? I think we're sort of all historians now after this experience. So the Lincoln Center Archives gave us access to 2,130 double-sided handwritten records, which collected information from families affected by the Lincoln Square urban renewal process. Some of you, which you can see on the wall here and on the wall right there. In order to analyze the data from these cards, first we have to transcribe each and every one of these records, a process that took approximately 8 months for us to complete. This exhibit, along with the pamphlet and our upcoming report, stay tuned, that's dropping this summer, would not be possible without the support of the rest of our research team. And again, I really just want to, this really is a team effort, as Jamaida mentioned, not just with the Data Hub, the research team, but also with units across CENTRO. And I really want to shout out everybody who was involved. Monique Young, who is here. Thank you, Monique. Camila Juarbe, Maya Borg, and Ariana Menezes. It became clear very early on that these relocation records held deeply complex stories that went beyond just information about rent rates, places of birth, and types of appliances in a home. These are some of the families that frequently came up in our conversations about this project. A mother and her 3 adult sons, La Familia de Fajardo, siempre decimos, who arrived in New York City in 1957 and had only lived in Lincoln Square for 6 months before they received their eviction notice. They returned to Puerto Rico rather than relocate within the city, their hopes of a better future dashed in the name of culture and progress. The elderly Greek tenant who was deported back to Greece, and there was a note specifically stating that this person was deported, like Jamaida said, this is really, it becomes more and more relevant every day that passes, right? That this work is so crucial to understanding the moment that we're living in today. And finally, Felipe, who's really big right here, his wife, their 7 children, with 1 more on the way, who lived in a 2-room apartment that did not have heat during the winter. These stories, full of life and personal struggle, of hopes and plans for the future, provide a stark contrast to the disdain shown by those in charge of an ostensibly humane and kind urban renewal effort. The evidence of that is an altogether different type of musical, written by the employees of Braceland, Porter, and Wheelock, the management company in charge of the eviction and relocation process. They sang about how the tenants would make up complaints, such as their dog having asthma and not being able to climb stairs, as reasons for not leaving the neighborhood that had been their home for years. These jokes earned them their admiration of staff from the Metropolitan Opera House, who went on to offer them tickets to future shows at Lincoln Center. This generosity, the very idea that the young BPW employees could be the future of arts and culture in New York, was not extended to the residents who were being displaced. In the process of researching these stories, we had the opportunity to connect with a Puerto Rican family who lived in Lincoln Square at this time. After a year of living with these records and archival documents, we have, with their help, and we are again just so grateful and so happy we got to do this, reconstructed or attempted to reconstruct the story of the Ramirez Zapata family. Maria, you can see them right here, and her children, Gustavo, Magdalena, Harry, and Miguel. Please, big round of applause. And really brought these numbers and papers alive. As a testament of the importance of engaging with archives and public history, we are here partly because one night at 3 a.m., as he reminded me earlier tonight, Miki Ramirez was watching videos about his old neighborhood and came across a photo from the New York City Parks Archive. Labeled "A Crowd Gathered on a Stoop," the photo depicts a woman looking out the window of 108 61st Street. You can see this photo over in the last wall of the exhibit, and the woman in that photo is Maria Zapata, their mother, right? So a totally serendipitous encounter with a photo from the archive has sort of set them on this path of connecting with us. Also, they participated in a documentary produced by Lincoln Center called Manhattan's Manhattan's lost neighborhood. And we have really especially loved learning about their incredible mother, Maria Zapata, her determination and dedication to her 5 children, her love for music and Puerto Rican culture. I am so honored that we get to share their stories with you, that Maria's story will be a part of Centro's archive, and I am so thankful for their generosity with their time, stories, and the beautiful photos that are part of this exhibit. I also want to thank our co-curator, Christopher Lopez. I remember at our first meeting telling him about all the documents. Yes, aplausos to Chris, please. About all the documents and data we had collected and how immediately he knew that we could build a portrait of the residents of Lincoln Square and San Juan Hill. He really helped our vision come to life, and I am so excited that we have artists like him that are committed to telling the stories of our people, who are excited about working with a bunch of data and policy nerds to really help us do these stories justice. And finally, I want to do some last shout outs to the staff at Lincoln Center who worked with us: Leah Johnson, Leah Constantine, Anna Troster, Rebecca Pop, and Arlene Yu. Centro's amazing directora, Dr. Yomaira Figueroa Vasquez, who has provided so much encouragement and support to the entire team. It really takes something special to look at this group and say, you guys want to do an exhibit? Let's go for it. Let's do it, right? And we are just so grateful for that level of support. Also at Centro, our wonderful communications teams, especially Alyssa Monet Chambers and Brandon Chacon, who worked on the graphic design and the exhibit pamphlet. And finally, thank you to our incredible exhibit superheroes, Glorimar Garcia and Sebastián Mels Collazo, for the hard work and dedication in making this exhibit look so damn good.
Yeah.
Aplausos para ellos también. Again, thank you all. Please enjoy the exhibit, and I'm going to leave you with Chris Lopez, who has a couple
in our archives. The team was able to collaborate. We were invited to collaborate with the Lincoln Center as they were reckoning with the legacies of the creation of Lincoln Center and Fordham University. And they passed on to our archivists almost 2 years ago these blue cards, which you see here. Not this big, they were smaller like the ones over there. So over 2,000 of these cards, each one representing a family. And the data scientists were given that information and not much more, and a lot of the information on those cards were redacted, right? And so it just, in this incredible way, the commitment that is at Centro, that I talk about at every event, the commitment of the staff at Centro is so beautiful to me, because they could have just, typed in and processed the information, cleaned the data, created a spreadsheet, a searchable spreadsheet, and been done with it, right? And be like, okay, we now know where people went and where they left and the displacement. But instead they wanted to tell a story that would reach many more people, many more communities. So what they did is they did additional research on top of this. Once they processed those cards, they were able to go to additional archives, they did additional research in order to fill in the information that had been redacted by some unknown source. And in doing so, decided that they wanted to partner with Christopher Lopez, where are you, Chris?
Thank you everybody for being here. It was really a wonderful experience to be able to get to collaborate with Centro on this exhibit. I learned about this history myself when I was invited to come and participate and sort of build out this exhibition. I think the first pieces of visual data that I encountered were 2 videos that were sent to me. A video that was like a promotional video for Lincoln Center. And so that's the whole point. And so I'm really, proud of the whole exhibit, of the whole team. All the data research people are just straight geniuses. Experience. It was a wonderful experience to be able to take images with the Ramirez family. Y'all were amazing in the center. We gathered to make a family portrait that I hope is meaningful. We were able to honor your family and your mom.
Hispanics have gone through to come to this big city, tough city, but through love and through strength and through family, we held it together and we made it. And so I want to thank Centro for doing this kind of work. I think it's really important that we document our story here in this great city of New York. And on behalf of my family, we appreciate all that was done to show her story, a woman of strength, of dignity, of love, courage, and at 90 she was still dancing salsa. So thank you all, and
so much. We appreciate you.
Because Ratchet Roaches, and we beat the odds because my mother love and affection that brought her in the home kept us strong. And we should give her a nickname. When we left this neighborhood to be raised at Lower East Side Manhattan housing projects, and we all went upstate New York to go to school, State University. My brother Mickey went to Juilliard. He made a full circle, you know? That's great. I mean, but my mother's nickname was J-Lo.
También visite Legacies of San Juan Hill, un centro digital que explora la historia, comunidades y la cultura de San Juan Hill. Descubre el barrio histórico a través de actuaciones, paneles, proyecciones de películas y un centro digital de artículos, fotos de archivo, contenido bajo demanda y más. Para más información visite lincolncenter.org San Juan Hill. The Lincoln Center and Fordham University were indeed built in the wake of organized abandonment and on the backs of thousands of families who dreamt of bettering their lives and the lives of their descendants. Please visit our project site for more in-depth analysis, information about our exhibit, and additional educational resources about San Juan Hill and Lincoln Square Urban Renewal Project. Also look for Legacies of San Juan Hill. Explore the history, communities, and culture of San Juan Hill. Discover the historic neighborhoods through performances, talks, film screenings, and a digital hub of articles, archival photos, events on demand, and more. Learn more at lincolncenter.org, San Juan Hill. Curated by Dr. Crystal M., Jusino Diaz, and Christopher Lopez. Exhibition production, Glorimar Garcia and Sebastian Meltz Collazo.